I'm sure you're like me and you're still very much confused about Pizzagate on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Well, our friends over at Your Moms Are Watching have a really great story to tell. And I think by the end of this video, you will fully understand, possibly, allegedly, what really went down when it comes to Pizzagate and who might be at fault. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So during our last recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, we talked about Pizzagate, and we try to understand it. And on some level, I think by the end of our recap, we had an inkling. But the main thing that we understood is that these three parties,
should have never mixed business.
especially when their relationship is always on such thin ice. But our friends over at Your Moms Are Watching are laying out possible details, alleged details about what really went down between Teresa Giudice, Joe Gorga, and her now husband, Luis Ruelas. And why exactly is Luis so willing to invest so much in not one, but two projects related to the Gorgas? So let's get into this. And shout out to them. As always, we will be citing our sources in the description. I read this and I said, okay, now I completely understand what might have went down. I'm not saying that this is fact. All right, calm down, Team Melissa. Calm down, Team Tree. Be Team You, period. So they start off this story like this. Okay, story time. So they start off this story like this. I hope you grabbed a snack because this is really story time. They write this. For story time today, I'm going to tell you guys a story that involves a family in New Jersey, delicious pizza, sibling rivalry, and a shipping container crossing the ocean as one Italian family member double crosses the other. Ultimately, deceit and betrayal that may have been severed all of these relationships for good. I present to you Pizzagate, Jersey style. I know by the end of this, I'm going to want a pizza. They write, before filming last season of Real Housewives of New Jersey, Joe Gorga's sister Teresa met a new boyfriend. His name was Louis. For the next few months, Joe got to know Louis and they started hanging out a bit. Louis was interested in hearing about Joe's business dealings. And in the course of doing that, Joe told Louis that he had an idea for a business that would honor Teresa and Joe's late father, Nono. Joe said he wanted to start a pizza subscription service called Nono's Pizza. The customer would purchase a custom countertop pizza oven with the name of the company, Nono's Pizza, to be featured on the oven. What in the Sonia Morgan?
Because that went so well.
Teresa and Joe would be equal partners in the company. Customers would also receive a kit with all of the ingredients in it to make the perfect pizza. These ingredients would be shipped to the customer on agreed upon intervals. Joe said he wanted the pizza to taste like his favorite pie, and he took Louis to his favorite pizza place to taste the pie. Joe chatted with the owner to see what one would need to produce this delicious pizza from home. Louis loved the pizza and said he wanted to be involved in the venture, and the two future brother-in-laws sat and ate their pizza and discussed the business plan. Louis said he could bring a lot of marketing expertise to the table, and Joe agreed that would be a valuable contribution. An important part of the business was obtaining the custom pizza ovens to sell. Melissa, Joe's wife, niece's husband, her nephew by marriage, had a contact with a manufacturer in China, so Louis and Joe agreed to go through Melissa's nephew to set up the purchase of the pizza ovens. Joe thought it would be important to purchase around 10,000 ovens, but Louis wanted to start smaller. They agreed upon purchasing one container full of ovens, which would be the amount of 2,266 ovens. Each oven would cost around $46, and there would be an additional $3,750 cost for a safety certificate. The total cost for the first container of the ovens would be $104,802.50. Louis insisted upon paying for this. Joe agreed, knowing he would have to put up additional expenses to get the business off the ground. Joe expected the business to cost around $500K. and also expected that he would be the one putting the rest of the money up himself. Louis paid the nephew this amount, and the nephew paid the manufacturer in China. The manufacturer of the oven sent over a picture of the prototype. It was a basic stainless steel and black oven. The logo for the No-No's Pizza was on the side of the oven. Teresa saw the prototype and wanted to change the design. She preferred a more opulent gold version of the oven. Joe insisted that the oven needed to be more universal, so they stuck with the black and stainless steel version. Sidebar, I kind of like the idea of a gold oven, but I do understand that that's not going to be everyone's taste, and Teresa's taste is not everyone's taste. You remember the first house she was living in. Just saying. As the ovens were in transit from China, Louis and Teresa set up a photo shoot to promote the business. They decided unilaterally to change the name from No-No's Pizza to Skinny Italian. So if you were watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey, it might start making sense. And look, we're not saying that this is fact, but this is interesting if this is the truth. So they unilaterally decided to change it from No-No's Pizza to Skinny Italian. The photos taken at the shoot were Teresa and her daughters, and Teresa wanted to use this image on the pizza boxes that would come with the home pizza making kit. They did not tell Joe Gorga about the photo shoot or the new name. They also changed the name of the logo on the side of the ovens to Skinny Pizza without informing Joe. And the ovens were already on their way to China. Then Joe Gorga found out about the name change and the photo shoot and was confused as to why he wasn't involved in the process. He also found out Teresa and Louis had gone to taste the pizza from the person they had found to manufacture the actual pizza kits. They did not involve Joe in this either, nor had anyone told Joe how the tasting went. Joe was very upset. He tried to reach Louis to no avail. He called his sister Teresa, and after a bunch of attempts, she picked up the phone. Joe asked Teresa why he was being cut out and yelled at Louis, who was standing nearby Teresa's phone. Joe told Louis he wanted to meet up in person and settle this man-to-man. Predictably, the call did not end well. Joe tried to reach Louis for 3 weeks to discuss the matter. Louis did not answer his calls. Finally, Louis called Joe and said, "Clearly, we do not see eye to eye. What if Teresa and I do this and give you 5% of the business since it was your idea?" Joe said no. He said he wanted out of the whole project because the original intent was to honor No-No by working with his sister and creating something No-No would love. Teresa's lawyer also contacted Joe, and the offer went up to 10%. But Joe still refused. Joe was done with the entire project. Meanwhile, the pizza ovens with the Skinny Italian printed on them arrived. Louis took the delivery, and the ovens are in Louis and Teresa's possession even to this day. Joe told Teresa's lawyer that Louis and Teresa could feel free to continue with the business plan without him. I just want to take a little sidebar. Look, I just want to take a little sidebar just because, again, my thing after reading this, what stood out to me was the similarities of what one of Louis' exes was accusing him of. Don't forget that lawsuit where one of Louis' exes were saying they started that therapy business together and then he pushed her out of it, allegedly. All right, I'm trying to remember with my elephant brain, but as soon as I read this, I said, ding, 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 wait a minute. Didn't Louis do this to one of his ex-girlfriends? Decide to start a business with her and then pushed her out along with other things that she alleged? Has that been settled yet? I haven't caught up with the Jersey folks yet. So they continue. Then last season, Real Housewives of New Jersey started to film. Everyone involved decided not to talk about this on camera, and so it wasn't brought up all season. That was last season, y'all. But somehow it came out this season. How did the producers find out when they asked them the question during the confessionals? Or maybe during the confessionals is when they both decided to talk about it because they weren't protecting each other anymore. All right. So everyone involved decided not to talk about this on camera, so it wasn't brought up all season. Joe made nice with Louis and even tried to mediate the Marge and Teresa situation by helping Louis realize that mending this fence would be important if Teresa would listen to reason. Joe was still hurt by what he felt Teresa and Louis did to him by moving forward with the pizza business without consulting him on anything. But he didn't let on to anyone that this still bothered him. Then this season of Real Housewives of New Jersey starts filming, and inexplicably, Joe, Teresa, and Louis bring up the situation on camera. They say Louis invested $250,000 in a pizza company with Joe, and Louis never got his money back when the deal went south. Joe contends that Louis and Teresa are the reason the deal didn't work out because they changed the concept without consulting him. And Louis has the pizza ovens that he paid for. So Joe doesn't owe him anything. I can't wait for the reunion because, let's wait till the reunion. I know you guys are going to have strong opinions, but let's wait till the reunion to see if they reiterate this same story. Because if they do reiterate the same story, in my mind, if you're changing the concept and you decided to invest in this situation and you want to ship it out as skinny, so because a lot of people are confused. So the way that you're explaining this, both Joe and Teresa, how exactly did Louis lose $250,000? That is the big mystery. How did you lose $250,000 if you have the means and the go-ahead from Joe to move forward with the business just without him? They continue. They say Louis invested $250,000 in a pizza business with Joe, and Louis never got his money back when the deal went south. Joe contends that Louis and Teresa are the reason the deal didn't work out because they changed the concept without consulting him, and Louis has the pizza ovens that he paid for. So Joe doesn't owe him anything. Also, Joe says the $250K is inflated. If Teresa and Louis spent on top of the $105,000, Louis paid for the ovens on a website and a photo shoot. That's their problem because Joe wasn't even consulted in these endeavors. As far as Joe is concerned, Louis bought some pizza ovens and still has them. So he got what he paid for. Honestly, this is bringing such clarity to this whole situation. And look, like I said, we don't know because we're not there. We don't know the facts of the situation. But I have to say, this is explained a lot better than the way that both Louis, Teresa, or Joe has explained this situation. Because a lot of people have been saying, I'm confused. How did Louis lose money? What exactly? Why would Joe want 50% of something if he's not investing that amount? Again, we must wait for the reunion. So Your Moms Are Watching continues, and they actually post the email where it says subject forward pizza ovens update. Joe, this refers to Joe Gorga. It says, see below, invoice was $104,802.50. Paid in full. See info below for price per oven and how many ovens were ordered. They add this. This is Melissa's nephew. I saw this entire email exchange between Joe Gorga, the nephew, and Louis, and it all seems legit. The rest of the emails were just Louis and the nephew hammering out details of the purchase of the container filled with pizza ovens. It's clear the money for the ovens, almost $105K, went to the nephew to get the manufacturer in China. Joe G did not get any of this money. They add this addendum. We can call this one Mattress Gate because there's more, just the plot thickens. There's another business deal. Louis did invest $25,000 in Melissa's nephew's, quote, pre-existing mattress and pillow company, the same nephew that helped with the pizza ovens. Again, Louis touted his marketing skills and said he would bring those to the table and get a website built, among other things. What in the Jen Shaw? Okay. This deal also imploded. The nephew says that the things Louis produced were not what Louis promised. Louis did not get his money back in that deal. All right, so let's unpack this. I have to say, after reading this, I feel like I have at least a better understanding to one side of what happened. Again, we need to hear what Teresa and Louis have to say in regards to how exactly did Louis lose $250,000. But before we even get into that part, I still think it was a bad idea from jump. I think Joe Gorga and Melissa were wrong for getting into any sort of business dealings. First of all, he wasn't his brother-in-law at the time. This was at the very beginning of Teresa's relationship with this man. You don't know this man from anywhere. Oh, because he has a little cachet, let's do some business? No, I don't know you like that. And there's already a lot of smoke around you from your exes and now business questions and lawsuits. Okay? And like I said to you before, what I'm hearing from this particular side in this particular story, it sounds as if Louis has done this before, allegedly. Again, go Google schmoogle what the ex was accusing him of in that lawsuit. They apparently had started some business and he pushed her out. Now we have two instances, yes, they involve the Gorgas, where Louis is doing bad business, allegedly. And then we go fast forward to watch what happens live, and Andy Cohen asks him, so what type of business are you in? Okay. Oh, Louis. I'm not even concerned about, and this is why, Teresa, Teresa and Joe, why staying connected, even if it was amicably, not even a deep relationship, because when Teresa needs Joe, because this situation over here with Louis goes awry, she's going to need her brother. She's going to need her brother. And then, you know what? I don't believe the door is completely closed. I know she said this in multiple interviews. I think the door is closed when it comes to doing the show together. But God forbid Teresa needs him or vice versa. I believe these two will be there for each other. I hope. And I hope that Louis not alienating Teresa from the only family that she has so that he has her in his clutches. Guys, only way we're going to find out more about this, and we will never really get to the 100% truth, is getting to the reunion and having them explain their sides. But I have to say, shout out to your moms for watching, because this made a lot more sense to me. Did it make sense to you? Let's have this grown conversation, because you know what we are. We're not Team Teresa. We're not Team Joe. We are Team Us. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. And thanks for being here for story time. I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit your notification bell so you never miss out on any breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.